I've worked all of my career in public service. I've worked in government and I've worked in the post-secondary sector, and working in the public service and the broader public service, you're privileged from time to time to meet really powerful leaders. Within a month of joining Canadore College in North Bay, I had to host the Queen and Prince Philip for lunch. Which was actually a fascinating experience. I've been in the same room as Bono and Bill Clinton, mind you, far down the back of the room. And I had dinner last week twice with the Irish Taoiseach, the Irish Prime Minister, with 20 or 30 of his closest advisors. So I have been around leadership, and I'm interested in leadership, and it's interesting to watch leaders. And I've gotten used to it, and I'm not nervous about it. I've been incredibly nervous about this, and it's because I'm in awe of General Dallaire. And I'm in awe of General Dallaire because of his character and because of who he is as a leader. He is a leader who leads from principle. And goodness knows we need more of that these days. He's a leader who understands that leadership is about serving, not about his own advancement. He's a leader that assumes rather than shirks the burden of responsibility. And that type of leadership is personally endangering. There's a line in Gallipoli, and it's a mistake to quote from a fictional representation of things. There's a line at the end of Gallipoli where the captain in the trench said, "I can't ask my boys to do something I won't do myself," as he clambered up the ladder and went over. Leadership that uses personal trauma to inform others is a rare form of leadership. Leadership that uses personal trauma to give voice to the needs of the voiceless. The Honourable Romeo Dallaire is a retired Lieutenant General and a former Senator. Before I invite him to address the Futures Forum, I'd like to tell you a bit about this keynote speaker, and most of you know this already from the books that you're carrying around. That I should have done that. We are so excited to have him with us today. General Dallaire ended his distinguished career in the Canadian military at the rank of Lieutenant General and the position of Assistant Deputy Minister of Human Resources for the military. His passion for child rights and protection led him to establish the Romeo Dallaire Child Soldiers Initiative, a global partnership whose mission is to end the recruitment and use of child soldiers. This mission was inspired by his experience as the United Nations Force Commander leading the United Nations Assistance Mission for Rwanda, a peacekeeping mission during the mid-90s. As somebody who grew up in Ireland in the 1960s, I know about peacekeeping missions in Africa. General Dallaire provided the United Nations with information about the planned massacre in Rwanda. Ultimately, the massacre took more than 800,000 lives in less than 100 days. Yet permission to intervene was denied, and the United Nations withdrew its peacekeeping forces, not the first time in Africa or elsewhere. Along with a small contingent of Ghanaian soldiers and military observers, he disobeyed the command to withdraw. He remained in Rwanda to fulfill the mission's ethical obligation, moral obligation to protect those who sought refuge with the United Nations forces. His courage, his leadership during this mission earned him the Meritorious Service Cross, the United States Legion of Merit, the Aegis Award on Genocide Prevention, and the affection and admiration, and speaking for myself and thousands of others, the awe of people around the globe. His account of the genocide became the subject of the book Shake Hands with the Devil, The Failure of Humanity in Rwanda, which received the Canadian Governor-General's Literary Award for Nonfiction in 2004 and the Shaughnessy Cohen Prize for Political Writing awarded by the Writers' Trust of Canada. The book provides the basis for an Emmy Award-winning documentary, as well as a major motion picture of the same name. The book also entered into evidence in war crimes tribunals trying the perpetrators of the Rwandan genocide. General Dallaire's 1997 revelation that he suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder as a direct result of his mission in Rwanda paved the way for destigmatizing his potentially lethal operational stress injury among military veterans as well as first responders. Since leaving his appointment as a senator in 2014, General Dallaire has worked as an author and public speaker while continuing his research on conflict resolution and prevention and the protection of child rights across the globe. His most recent book, Waiting for First Light, My Ongoing Battle with PTSD, details his personal struggle with the condition. His leadership as a mental health advocate offers support to other Canadian veterans who cope with traumatic injuries. He spends much of his time working with the Dallaire Initiative to develop innovative ways to help militaries across the world understand the unique dynamics of child soldier recruitment and use. He also inspires young people from underprivileged backgrounds to develop their leadership potential through his work with the Romeo Dallaire Foundation. He holds honorary doctorates and fellowships from nearly 36 universities in Canada and the United States. He is an Officer of the Order of Canada, a Grand Officer of the National Order of Quebec, a Commander of the Order of Military Merit. He is the recipient of the United Nations Association of Canada's Pearson Peace Medal, the Arthur Kroger Award for Ethics in Public Affairs from Carleton University, the Laureate of Excellence from the Manitoba Health Sciences Centre, the Elie Wiesel Award from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, the Harvard University Humanist Award. Locally, a public school in the town of Ajax is named after him. We are delighted, honored, and thrilled to welcome him to our campus and excited to have him be part of our Futures Forum on Community, Mental Health, and Wellness. Please give a warm welcome to a leader of mythological proportions, and I mean that sincerely, Lieutenant General, the Honorable Romeo Dallaire.